After reviewing two of Journey's best-selling albums, Escape and Frontiers, and Bad English's self-titled 1989 record, I feel it's time to get back to reviewing heavy metal albums. And episode 21 of Joe Lump's album review is Aerosmith's 1987 record, Permanent Vacation. When you're done watching this video, please feel free to check out past album review videos. The playlist is in the description box below. And now, it's on with the episode. In 1977, Aerosmith released their fifth album, Draw the Line. It would be their last featuring a classic lineup comprised of singer Steven Tyler, guitarist Joe Perry, rhythm guitarist Brad Whitford, bassist Tom Hamilton, and drummer Joey Kramer. By 1979, Joe Perry left Aerosmith. Brad Whitford would leave 2 years later. Lead guitarist Joe Perry had quit Aerosmith midway through Night in the Ruts. He was replaced by Jimmy Crespo. Who is Jimmy Crespo? He stayed with Aerosmith from 79 to 84. Then when it came time to record Rockin' the Hard Place, Brad Whitford recorded guitar parts on the song Lightning Strikes before he bolted from Aerosmith. He was replaced by Rick Dufay. Despite both albums going gold, Night in the Ruts and Rockin' the Hard Place were commercial failures, mainly because Aerosmith was not the same without lead guitarist Joe Perry and rhythm guitarist Brad Whitford. So in 1984, Crespo and Dufay were out and Perry and Whitford had returned. After their label Columbia Records dropped them, Aerosmith signed a new deal with Geffen Records, and their first record in this new deal was Done with Mirrors, released in 1985. The album was intended to be their comeback, but despite positive reviews, Done with Mirrors failed to live up commercial expectations. But in 1986, Aerosmith got a huge revival as a remake of their 1975 hit Walk This Way featured a collaboration with the legendary hip-hop group Run DMC. That version of Walk This Way made it to number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it motivated Aerosmith to make their real comeback album, which turned out to be Permanent Vacation. Permanent Vacation was the first Aerosmith album to employ outside songwriters instead of songs composed by the band themselves, and it came from executive at Geffen Records at the time, John Kalodner, who also pushed them to work with producer Bruce Fairbairn, mainly due to the success of Bon Jovi's Slippery When Wet. You can check out episode 9 on Joe Lump's album review. That's in the playlist as well. So the album would be recorded in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada's Little Mountain Studios, where they spent the spring of 1987 to record Permanent Vacation. It would soon be mastered at Unique Studios in New York. Looking at the track listing for this record, we start with Heart's Done Time, written by Joe Perry and Desmond Child, clocking in at 4:42. Magic Touch, written by Steven Tyler, Joe Perry, and Jim Vallance, clocking in at 4:40. Ragdoll, written by Steven Tyler, Joe Perry, Jim Vallance, and Holly Knight, clocking in at 4:21. Samaraya, written by Steven Tyler, Joe Perry, and Jim Vallance, clocking in at 3:22. Dude Looks Like a Lady, written by Steven Tyler, Joe Perry, and Desmond Child, clocking in at 4:23. St. John, written by Steven Tyler alone, clocks in at 4:12. Hangman Jury, written by Steven Tyler, Joe Perry, and Jim Vallance, clocking in at 5:33. Girl Keeps Coming Apart, written by Steven Tyler and Joe Perry, clocking in at 4:12. Angel, written by Steven Tyler and Desmond Child, clocking in at 5:10. Permanent Vacation, written by Steven Tyler and Brad Whitford, clocking in at 4:52. The Beatles cover of I'm Down was written by John Lennon and Paul McCartney, clocking in at 2:20. And to close the album, we have all 5 members of Aerosmith written the movie, which clocks in at 4 minutes. Aerosmith's Permanent Vacation was released on August 25th, 1987. It became the first Aerosmith album to receive heavy music video airplay on MTV. Even though Done with Mirrors was intended to be Aerosmith's comeback, Permanent Vacation is considered to be the band's true comeback, and it was the band's first truly popular record since the reunion, as singles Ragdoll, Dude Looks Like a Lady, and Angel all became top 20 hits on the Billboard Hot 100. It reached number 11 on the Billboard 200 in the US, and as of this recording, it sold over 5 million copies in America alone. Permanent Vacation marks the band's shift to a pop metal sound that they would retain and maintain up until 1993's Get a Grip. Looking at the reception of the album, it was received to mixed to positive reviews. In a retrospective assessment, AllMusic gave an album 4 stars and said, despite the mostly stellar songwriting, which makes it a strong effort overall, some of the album's nooks and crannies haven't aged all that well because of Fairbairn's overall production, featuring an exaggerated sleekness of the typical most mid-80s pop metal albums. Are you fucking kidding me? Loudwire ranked the album as Aerosmith's sixth best album, explaining the ranking with, its lavish 80s production has definitely dated, but Permanent Vacation still ranks among the greatest musical comebacks of all time. And I certainly would have to agree with that. Overall rating for this album is a 75 out of 100. The 3 hit singles were the standout tracks, as well as songs such as Heart's Done Time and Hangman Jury, and a cool cover of the Beatles' I'm Down. So what is your take on Aerosmith's Permanent Vacation? Please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, and check out all my past album review episodes as well. This has been Joe Lum's Album Review.
No.